How is it going, everyone? Welcome to the first ever live stream here on my channel. If you're watching this video, welcome. We're going to be going live for the next, who knows, 30 minutes maybe an hour. We're going to be talking Dodgers. We're going to be talking all things spring training, all things news, all things rumors. We're going to be previewing the 2024 season. So there's a lot to get to. Before we get to all that, though, this is a live stream. You are able to drop comments in the YouTube live chat. So if you guys have any Dodgers questions in regards to today's outing, we're going to be talking Yamamoto. We're going to be talking Shohei Ohtani. We're going to be talking a whole lot. But again, if you guys have any questions, hit me up over there in the live chat. I'll get to as many of them as I can. Again, we're going to be going for 30 minutes or so, maybe an hour. It depends on how much there is to talk about, how many questions come in. So I'd love to hear from you guys. Again, anything Dodgers related, let me know in the chat. If you guys are new here, I just created this YouTube channel just a couple weeks ago. I had one initially. I got a copyright strike from one of the videos, had to make a new channel, so had to re-up this for the second time. So if you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications. I'm going to be posting a lot of great Dodgers content all season long. I'm going to be posting my podcast. I'm going to be posting shorter videos. I'm going to be posting longer videos. I have a lot of fun ideas planned. Can't really do those now because there isn't a whole lot to get to in regards to spring training, at least for this portion of the year. Once the regular season gets underway, there's going to be a whole lot. So again, if you guys haven't done so yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications for a lot of great Dodgers content. We're going to be doing these live streams. I don't know how frequently we're going to be doing them during the regular season. Maybe once a week, maybe twice a week, maybe pregame, maybe postgame. We'll see as we go along. So again, if you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications. That way you're notified whenever I post a video, whenever there's a live stream, anything like that, because I'd love to hear from you guys. I'd love to hear what topics you want to see covered. I'd love to hear what kind of videos you would like to see. Lots of great content coming this season. I can guarantee that. There's a lot of videos I've already worked on. Can't release them just yet. I have them in the archives, but those are going to get posted once we get the season underway. So we're going to turn things over to the comments as well. So again, if you guys are watching this right now, you have any Dodgers comments at all, let me know in the live chat. I'm going to be getting to as many as I possibly can over the next 30 minutes, maybe the next hour, however long this takes. So hit me up with any Dodger questions or just questions about anything. If you want to know what my thoughts were on Dune 2, I saw that this past week. Spoiler, I didn't know what was going on, but if you want to know my thoughts on that, let me know in the live chat as well. This one comes from Mike Taylor. Let's kick things off. Do you agree with the hate that Dave gets? I've said this before. I don't know if I've ever said this on my Dodgers podcast or if I've just talked about this with my friends and family. If social media was around back when Tommy Lasorda was manager, can you imagine the criticism that he'd be getting as well? It's easy to hate on Dave because every little move you could turn to Twitter, you can argue about it, you can go back and look at replays. Dave gets too much hate. There have been some questionable decisions by his in the past that I have not agreed with. A couple of them have come in pretty big moments, but for the most part, I don't think that the hate is deserved. People think that he needs to be fired, to which that I say, who out there is going to be a better manager? If you're going to fire Dave Roberts, you got to bring in someone that's going to be a better option. The only possible candidate I had in mind when this was kind of a thing over the last couple of years was Bruce Bochy. Obviously, they didn't make that happen, and we saw what happened with the Rangers. That would be the only guy that I think you could bring in that might be an upgrade. So, yeah, I think Dodgers fans need to just let Dave... just leave him alone, man. Leave him alone. If he wins another World Series, he's already going to be considered one of the greatest managers in Major League Baseball history. And he's, he just turned 50, I think, a year or two ago. He's still fairly young. He has another decade at least if he wants. So if Dave Roberts can win a championship this year, he'll be already considered one of the best managers in MLB history, as if he isn't already near the top. I mean, I think he's near the leaderboards in a lot of categories. Obviously, has the most wins by any, or his winning percentage, I think, is the highest of any manager in MLB history. He's near the top of the leaderboards in almost every postseason category already. And again, he's only been coaching for, I think 8 years now it's been? 9 years, something like that. Don't hate on Dave. He's a great manager. The players clearly love him. Every manager makes mistakes. It's bound to happen in baseball. Nobody's perfect. But respect Dave. Respect my manager, Dave Roberts. Again, if you guys are just tuning in right now, feel free to hit me up in the live chat. Ask as many questions as you like. We're going to be going for the next 30 minutes or so, maybe an hour. I'll be answering all of your Dodgers questions. If you guys haven't done so yet, though, make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications. That way you're notified every time we go live, every time we post a video. Lots of great Dodgers content coming this season. So make sure to subscribe. Stay tuned for that. All right, this next one, what do we think of Vargas this year? Too much natural hitting talent not to succeed. I just don't know what to make of Miguel Vargas. I mean, this is a guy where every level he was at in the minors, he hit. I mean, low A, double A, triple A, every level he was at, he was a fantastic hitter. I was really excited when the Dodgers called him up because I thought he would be a contributor, the rest of the way. 2023, they give him the keys to second base to start the year. He has a few spurts here and there, but overall, for the most part, he just couldn't get the job done. He wasn't the answer at second base for the Dodgers. Obviously, they add a lot of talent this offseason. As the way things currently stand right now, barring an injury, he's not going to make the club on opening day. He's going to be starting the season in the minors in AAA. And for the most part, he's going to be down there until there's an injury, which could be a week. It could be a week until he's called up, or it could be a month or two. So for Miguel Vargas, I don't know necessarily what the issue's been. He does have a limited sample size. I don't know off the top of my head what his logs are, but I think he has like 95 games, maybe at the big league level. So clearly he hasn't done well, but that's such a small sample size. You look at every great hitter out there, they definitely have had a 95 game, run, or they weren't necessarily a great hitter. So I think for Miguel Vargas, he could turn things around. But with me personally, I'm not as high on him as I was, when he was coming up through the system, as when he made his debut, or even going back to last year when he won the second base job. He could still be a solid contributor for this team moving forward. Maybe next year they're able to find a role for him as like an everyday kind of player. But at least for 2024, again, barring there being some sort of injury, it's really tough to see what his plate's going to be. And maybe he goes to AAA this year, and maybe he puts up the exact same numbers that we saw him putting up all those years ago. Maybe he lights up the stat sheet. Maybe he puts up fantastic numbers. Maybe he's a guy that you're thinking, how do you keep this guy down in the minors? How do you keep this guy down in the minors and you can't call him up? So hopefully he's able to figure some things out, because I would love for him to get a chance, because if Miguel Vargas can turn things around, if he can be that guy for the Dodgers, you're talking about a depth piece who gets starts here and there, maybe could be an everyday starter somewhere. That could be a really solid hitter that can give you a 280 average, that can post a WRC plus of 110, maybe to 120. I think that player is still in there, but I'm going to have to see a lot from him this season in the minors. And whenever he does get that call up, I'm going to have to see something from him, because I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen it so far this spring training. He did have that one game where I think he had 3 hits, did hit a home run. Give me more of that, Miguel Vargas. Show me more of that power. Show me more of that player. Whatever was working that day, continue doing that, and hopefully we can see it work out for you this year, because again, I think the talent's there, but something's just got to click for him. Big Tony, my guy's saying, hey now, go live after every game. Probably not every game, but definitely, again, once or twice a week, I would love to go live on here. I have a YouTube channel where I talk college football, and I used to have a college football show, and every week we would go live, and we'd have hundreds of people in the live chat talking with them, and that was a lot of fun. So if I can bring that over to this channel, talk with you Dodgers fans at least once a week after a game, maybe have some Dodgers fans hop on the show, talking about their thoughts following a crucial victory over the Padres, or maybe just a random victory over the Rockies. I'd love to do that. So yeah, if you guys want to see some live streams in the future, hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications. That way you're notified whenever I go live. Also, if you want to see live streams, whatever kind of live streams you want to see, let me know in the live chat as well what your thoughts are, what kind of things you want to see, what kind of videos you want to see, because again, this is a brand new channel, started this a couple weeks ago. I'm open to ideas, so if you have any Dodger video ideas, content ideas, let me know in the live chat. I'd love to hear from you guys. Jesse Guzman, where do you see Diego Cartaya and Miguel Vargas in the Dodgers' future plans? Yeah, so I kind of just touched on Miguel Vargas, so I'm not really going to go into him with this one. Diego Cartaya, this one is such a tough one for me, because what was it, just a couple years ago, he was considered one of the best prospects in all of baseball, not just one of the best Dodgers prospects. He was considered to be one of the top prospects in all of baseball, especially one of the top catching prospects in all of baseball. 2023, man, 2023 was rough for him. 2023 was a rough season for Diego Cartaya. He's pretty much been wiped out on all prospect lists entering the season. I think there were a couple that had him still ranked inside the top 100 overall, but it was only a couple. But considering he was like a top 20 prospect just a year ago, that's the insane fall right there. So for Diego Cartaya, we're going to have to see how he looks in Double-A this year. I know he's dealing with some sort of injury right now. Hasn't been able to get into any game action. That kind of sucks. I was really hoping to see him, see how he'd look this spring. But he's going to be in Double-A to start the year. He's going to have Dalton rushing, I think, in Double-A as well with him. So that's another Dodger catching prospect to keep an eye on. But Diego Cartaya, I'm not giving up just yet. I mean, we have to remember how young he is. He's younger than the average Double-A player, so I'm not going to get too concerned over his struggles from last year. Now, they're certainly not ideal, because this was a guy that was proving it, through the first couple years in the minors, and it was a bad season. I mean, it's one thing to maybe cool off just a little. He was an awful hitter last year. Had a couple of stretches where he was great, but I still think for Diego Cartaya, there's a chance that in a couple of seasons he cracks the big league roster, he's with the Dodgers, and he's a solid catcher. Am I as confident in that as I was last year at this time? I'm not. Mainly because also the Dodgers catching depth in the minors is the best in all of baseball. They have a number of catchers down there that are probably going to be big leaguers within the next 3 to 4 years. So for Diego Cartaya, he's one of the guys I'm really looking forward to keeping an eye on this year in the minor leagues, just because if he's able to turn things back around with how young he is, with how much time he still has to become that guy for the Dodgers, it's going to be a lot of fun. So for Diego Cartaya, this is a huge year for him. If he struggles and has another bad season like he did last year, then I think you might want to start to panic, because 2 bad years, maybe he's not going to be the guy that we were expecting. So one more chance for Diego Cartaya. I'm hopeful, because as we've seen in previous seasons, when this guy's on, he's one of the best hitters, one of the best pure hitters in the Dodger system. So hopefully he's able to fix things and turn things around. Why is Jordan Montgomery suddenly following the Dodgers on Instagram? Now, if other people out there can confirm if this is true or not, because I'm not going to go to Jordan Montgomery's Instagram and scroll through to see if he follows the Dodgers. So if this is true, if El Capitan is being honest, and Jordan Montgomery all of a sudden followed the Dodgers, that's definitely interesting. It could be Scott Boras in his ear saying, make people think this. Get people talking. Get the guy that's talking about the Dodgers right now live on YouTube, get him to talk, so go follow the Dodgers. I know this isn't necessarily a Jordan Montgomery question, but I don't think there's been any links to him and the Dodgers this offseason. I'm personally lower on Jordan Montgomery than a lot of other people are out there. If the Dodgers want to sign him to a 1 or 2 year deal with some opt-outs, shorter-term contract, by all means, sign me up. But yeah, I'm not as high on Jordan Montgomery. But if he did just follow the Dodgers, it's a little bit interesting. Also, the thing I want to know is, so let's just say Jordan Montgomery just followed the Dodgers an hour ago. Who's keeping track of this? Are there like ways where you can just figure out if someone just followed someone in the last hour? Like, are there people that are like checking Jordan Montgomery's Instagram every hour and all of a sudden something changed? I mean, if there are people out there that are doing this, props to you, because you're doing the investigative journalism that people like me aren't doing. So whoever figured that out, major props to you. Would you be open to trading him for additional help at the deadline? Would that break your heart? Mike Taylor, if you want to quickly chime in and let me know who you're referring to. I think you're talking about Miguel Vargas, I want to say, since I was just talking about Miguel Vargas. So if you are talking about Miguel Vargas, would I be open to trading him for additional help? Yes, I would be. I mean, there's one prospect. There's one prospect in the Dodgers farm system that I wouldn't trade, unless you're getting some superstar piece that puts you over the top, that really helps you win a World Series. I would trade anyone in the system. The one player I would not trade is Josue De Paula, because I think that guy might be Yordan Alvarez 2.0, so I would not trade him. Any other prospect in the Dodgers system, I'd have no problem trading. It's going to be interesting, though, to see what his value is looking like, because as of right now, I don't think Miguel Vargas really has that much value. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe other teams out there would love to get their hands on Miguel Vargas. I'm sure there are teams out there that would love to add him to their team, but I'm not certain if the Dodgers could get quite a haul that they would have gotten had they traded him a year or two ago. Who knows? Again, maybe I'm wrong there, but I think it also depends on how he performs in AAA this year. But yeah, if Miguel Vargas can net you whatever piece the Dodgers might need at the trade deadline, whether it's another starting pitcher, whether it's a bullpen arm, whether it's a bat, if you could turn Miguel Vargas into a piece that can help you win now, you got to do it. Because Miguel Vargas, Brian, there being an absolute catastrophe at the big league club where a couple of guys get hurt and Miguel Vargas all of a sudden is one of your everyday hitters, he's not going to help you win a World Series in 2024. So if you can ship him off for someone that will, or maybe a couple pieces that'll help you, and he's like the headliner, I think you definitely got to do it. But again, I would trade anyone in the Dodger system with the exception of Josue De Paula, but it depends on what you're getting back. If you're getting back a nice haul, I'd have no problem having him be the headliner. But yeah, Josue De Paula, if you're not following the Dodger prospect system too in depth, just remember that name. Do me a favor and remember that name for a couple years down the line. Because if he pans out the way I think he pans out, and the way a lot of other people think he pans out, yeah, the Dodgers, they're going to have a potential superstar on their hands in that starting lineup. Again, if you guys are just hopping in, I'm answering as many Dodgers questions as I can. I'm going to be going for another 15 minutes or so, maybe 30 minutes. I want to get to all of your guys' questions, but if you have any Dodgers-related questions at all, anything about spring training, anything about the upcoming regular season, anything about news, rumors, anything like that, anything Dodgers-related you guys have, let me know in the live chat. Drop a comment down there. I'll be answering all of your guys' questions. I want to get to as many as I can because, again, I love hearing from you guys. I love hearing what you guys got to say. And, again, if you're just tuning in, you're new to the channel, that subscribe button hasn't been clicked yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications. That way you're notified whenever I post Dodgers content all season long. A lot of great stuff coming, I can guarantee you that. So if you're a Dodgers fan, this is definitely the place for you. Again, I'm excited about the videos that I got coming in the coming weeks and in the coming months. What did you think of Yamamoto's fastball? It looks like all the hitters were just sitting on it. Yeah, Yamamoto had a rough outing today. I'm hesitant to call it a rough outing because if you watched the game, if you watched every pitch he threw, he wasn't as bad as the box score indicates. He definitely didn't have the command that he had last week. I think he had 3 walks overall today, but he was getting squeezed on a lot of pitches. Now on Sportsnet LA, we didn't have the box where you can see if balls or strikes or balls. We couldn't see that, but I did see someone tweet out. I think it was like on the MLB app, screenshots of some of his at bats, the calls he was getting squeezed on, and he was painting pitches that were literally right there on the corner that weren't getting called strikes. There were a couple that were a little outside, but there were a couple that were hitting the edge and they were called strikes. So for the most part, I wasn't too worried about that. Overall, his fastball, he had a number that he got swing and misses on. I thought it looked good. And for the most part, whenever the White Sox were making contact on it, it was weak contact. The issue with Camelback Ranch is we don't have like Baseball Savant. We can't look at the StatCast data. There weren't a lot of hard hit balls by the White Sox at all today. I think they may have had one that resulted in an out, but like all the contact that the White Sox were making today, it was weak contact. The Dodgers defense did Yamamoto no favors at all. I mean, my God, the left side of Gavin Lux and Max Muncy this year, that's going to be problematic. That's going to be an issue because they had a number of plays that they just botched and they were ruled hits. So Yamamoto, he really should not have allowed, I think it was 5 runs total. He should have been out of that game, maybe allowing 1, maybe 2 runs at the absolute most. But yeah, in regards to the fastball, overall, I thought it was fine. Nothing too concerning. Just, again, overall, sloppy defense, an umpire that's squeezing him, not really giving him a lot of calls. Weak contact, so that was an encouraging sign. We'll see how he looks in his next outing. I don't think, as of right now, they've announced when Yamamoto is going to take them out next. But I assume whenever he goes next, it's probably going to be his final outing before the regular season starts when they go over to Seoul. So we'll see how that looks because We have 2 sample sizes of him now. 1 sample size, he looked fantastic. He looked untouchable. Today, not as much, but he did still, I think, have 4 strikeouts, I want to say, in 3 innings. Had a lot of swing and miss. So if you can find as many positive things to say about Yamamoto's bad outing as you can, I think I just did. Favorite all-time Dodger? This question's always so tough to answer because I don't know. I have like levels to my all-time favorite Dodger is. My earliest memory of having a favorite Dodger was, I believe, Paul LaDuca. Paul LaDuca, for some reason, was my guy. I loved Paul LaDuca. I think, like, at some point when he was here, I don't know how old I was. It must have been, like, 6 or 7 years old. He was doing, like, a signing, I think, like, at the Glendale Galleria. And I think I made, like, a Paul LaDuca sign. Like, I'm waiting in line, waiting for his autograph. And I made a Paul LaDuca sign. So, for whatever reason, young Blake loved Paul LaDuca. So, that's that one. I also like Sean Green a lot. Sean Green was one of the favorites. Then he gets, like, the next level when it comes to the Dodger timeline. I loved Russell Martin a lot. I guess we have a trend here of Dodgers catchers, but I loved Russell Martin. I loved him during that time. Him and Matt Kemp were probably, like, the 2 favorites during that era. I also liked Casey Blake and Blake DeWitt because they had a great name. So those were 2 favorites. And then, of course, over the last decade, it's been Kershaw. No questions asked. He's been a favorite. But yeah, I don't really, like, for the most part, have, like, that guy that you just, like, hang on to as always your favorite. Like, for nostalgic reasons, it's probably going to be Kershaw just because he's the GOAT. And he's been around essentially, for, like, 16 years of my 27 years on this planet. So for more than half of my existence, Kershaw has been a Dodger. So because of that reason, he's my go-to guy. So overall, I guess after a very long answer to El Capitan's question, Clayton Kershaw probably all-time favorite Dodger. But again, love for Paul LaDuca because he was my first favorite player. Love for all those guys from the mid to late 2000s. Last decade, boy, I don't even know the last decade who a favorite would be. I loved Hyun-Jin Ryu, and I loved Juan Uribe. I love those 2 because they were like a team together. I just love when they messed with each other. So those are some other favorites that I've had recently. Big Tony, he's doing it for me. He's doing the promo for me. Also, join the Substack. Yeah, that's something I didn't mention yet. A little pub right here. It's down there in the ticker. But if you guys want to support me and all of my content, I'm going to be posting a lot of content here to my YouTube channel, but during the season, I post all of my Dodgers articles over on my Substack page, blakeharris.substack.com, so you can read all of my Dodgers content over there, and I offer a number of great perks and benefits as well. The one that's probably the favorite, I think Tony can attest to this as well, is you're added to a Twitter group chat filled with me and lots of other Dodgers fans, so nonstop, we're talking Dodgers, we're talking during the games, we're talking when it's not the games. We're talking at like 5 a.m., whatever's going on with the Dodgers. Sometimes there's a lot of non-Dodgers talk in there. It's a lot of fun as well, but that's one of the perks that a lot of people do like. So if you guys want to support me, a couple bucks a month, get all of my articles, you get into that Twitter group chat, and there's a lot of benefits as well. Even, I'll say this right now, it's a little tease, but once the season starts, we're going to be doing a pretty big giveaway to my subscribers over on my Substack page. So it's a jersey giveaway, I'll say that, of a pretty well-known player on the Dodgers. I don't want to give it away just yet. I'll give that little tease. That's going to be going to my Substack subscribers once the season starts. So if you guys want to win that jersey, again, it's a pretty good jersey, make sure to go over to blakeharris.substack.com. You help support me, and you get a lot of great perks and benefits as well. Again, that Twitter chat, as Tony says here, we talk about everything. That's a great benefit. So head over to my Substack. You guys can find all of that stuff over there. And if you guys are just tuning in right now to the live stream, first off, if you haven't done so yet, make sure to subscribe to my channel, turn on those notifications. Lots of great Dodgers content coming all season long. We got live streams coming as well. So if you guys want to stay up to date with the latest Dodgers news, a lot of awesome content you won't find anywhere else. Again, I have a couple of videos that I've already filmed, edited, and uploaded. Haven't posted them yet. Want to wait till the season starts. But again, some content that you've never seen on YouTube. So if you're a Dodgers fan, hit that subscribe button. And again, if you have a question, anything Dodgers related about spring training, today's performance, about the season as a whole, Let me know in the live chat. We'll be going for another 5 to 10 minutes or so. I'll be answering your questions. So anything Dodgers related or anything about anything, hit me up in that live chat. I'll be answering your questions before we head out for the night. Are there any other homegrown guys that you don't want to ever see in another uniform? That's tough. I mean, right off the bat, you think of a couple. I mean, well, first off, Kershaw. Like, no, please never let that happen. But any other guys, Will Smith, he comes to mind because he came up through the system. He's turned into one of the best catchers in all of baseball. I don't want to see him in another uniform. That's going to be really interesting to see in a couple of years. I think he's a free agent 2026. So he's under contract for 2 more years with the Dodgers. Hopefully the Dodgers can work something out, bring him back. But I talked about this earlier in the stream, with how many catching prospects the Dodgers currently have waiting in the minors, I wouldn't be surprised if the Dodgers opt to let Will Smith walk in a couple of years. Now, it depends if those guys turn out, if you can count on them, because there's a chance all these catching prospects just flame out. If that's the case, maybe the Dodgers are more aggressive in bringing back Will Smith. But I don't want to see him play anywhere else. Another guy, this one I think it's probably more likely. We'll have to see probably how 2024 goes, but that's Walker Buehler. I don't want to see Walker Buehler go. I've loved Walker Buehler. I've loved him as a Dodger. I loved his time here because this dude is a big game pitcher. I mean, all of the Dodgers' biggest moments in the postseason over the last 5 to 6 years, Walker Buehler has been one of the better pitchers, if not their best starting pitcher during that insane run. Now, obviously, the last couple of years we've missed him because of his second Tommy John surgery. I don't know necessarily how things are going to go for him in 2024. I will say this. If Walker Buehler does struggle this year, even if he doesn't necessarily struggle, if he's not like healthy for the most part, let's say he makes 10 to 15 starts, post solid numbers, the Dodgers actually might be able to bring him back on a cheaper contract. A couple years ago, we thought Walker Buehler would be getting 100 plus million, 150 million, that kind of a contract. It's probably not looking that way right now for him. So maybe he's able to come back on a cheaper short-term deal with the Dodgers. I would love to see that happen because, again, I don't want to see him go anywhere. But there is the possibility because the Dodgers rotation in 2025 looks pretty stacked is how things are currently shaping out right now. I don't think there's going to be room for Walker Buehler in that starting rotation for 2025 because you have Ohtani, Yamamoto, Glasnow, Bobby Miller. Right there, that's already 4. You have Clayton Kershaw, who might be back, so that's already number 5. I think they're going to be going to a 6-man rotation next season at least, so you maybe have room for one more. But I personally want Roki Sasaki over here. I hope the Dodgers go after him. If they're able to land him, then that's your number 6. Or the Dodgers could also go the free agent route, go the trade route, bring in their 6th arm, or obviously you have guys in the minor league system, like an Emmett Sheehan, like a Gavin Stone, like a River Ryan, a Kyle Hurt. They have a number of options, so even if Walker Buehler is solid this year, and if the Dodgers want to bring him back, I don't know if necessarily there's going to be enough room for him for 2025, so that'll be something we'll have to wait and see. But I don't want to see Walker Buehler in another uniform. I think that would be weird. I think that would just be one of those ones where it doesn't seem right. Tony's saying Austin Barnes. Yeah, if Austin Barnes wants to... I love Austin Barnes, man. I was going to say I don't want to see Austin Barnes in another uniform. My preference would be to see Austin Barnes stay in a Dodgers uniform, but as a coach. Get him off the active roster. Austin Barnes does not belong on the 26-man roster. Make him a coach. Let him keep his uniform number. Let him be number 15. And keep him in the dugout. That's fine with me. This season, I mean, you can make him an honorary coach. Whatever you want to make. Make him the assistant bench coach. I don't know if that's an actual job title. Make Austin Barnes the official assistant bench coach. I don't want to see Austin Barnes play for another team. I do think he gets a hard rap. He has done a lot for the Dodgers over the years. But, yeah, they need to figure something out because Austin Barnes just cannot get it done. But the issue is, if something were to happen to Will Smith, you kind of need Austin Barnes because he has such a strong relationship with every pitcher that is on the Dodgers roster right now. Where if, let's just say Austin Barnes got hurt or you traded him or cut him or whatever, and Hunter Fiducia is your number 2 catcher, and let's just say something happens to Will Smith and now you have Hunter Fiducia, and some random AAA catcher that you have to call up, or if those are your two catchers, that's going to be a problem for the pitching staff. So I get it. Austin Barnes, not the best at the plate anymore. He is solid still behind the plate. Solid. I'll say above average. And he has that relationship. And hey, who knows? 1 out of every 80 plate appearances, he'll get into one. He'll make contact and actually get a base hit. So Austin Barnes, don't go anywhere, but just become a coach this year, or the emergency third catcher. He's not actually on the active roster, but if he could be like the emergency third catcher, or he doesn't count towards the 26 man, but he's available if needed, I think that would be just as good as well. But that is going to wrap it up for this live stream. I appreciate everyone that hopped in at some point. I appreciate all those who asked me questions in the live chat. Again, we're going to be doing a lot of these during the season, so if you haven't done so yet, I can't stress this enough. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications. That way you're notified every time I go live and every time I upload a video. Lots of great Dodgers content coming all season long, so make sure you stay tuned for that. If you're a Dodgers fan, this is definitely the place for you. As always, I appreciate you guys tuning in so much. This was fun. Stay tuned. Follow me on Twitter, at Blake H. Harris. I'll be tweeting out the next time I go live. But until then, I appreciate you guys watching. Enjoy the rest of your night, and hopefully we get some better performances from Yamamoto and from Austin Barnes especially as we close out spring training. So thanks a lot, guys.